This is Prep Period, an all-sports podcast by the Ventura County Star and the people at VCS Press.
Hello, and welcome to episode 17 of Prep Period. My name is Dominic Massimino. He is Joe Curley. We are enterprising young sports reporters here at the Ventura County Star with another exciting episode of Prep Period for you. Joe, how you doing?
Some younger than others. I'm doing great. Week 16. It's been a very long season, thankfully. Three teams making us work very hard. Two teams making us go all the way. Really looking forward to covering two state championship games for the first time. Oh, I'm blowing the stat. First time, and we're gonna have to come up with another stat. First time in Ventura County history. So yeah, it's a historic week. We got two great teams to cover, and we'll see if either of them can bring home Ventura County's. Well, I'll save this for the stat. Can bring home a state championship.
Dude, you gotta save it all for the stat, man. You're blowing it.
Brutal. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna go in now and update it.
It's not as bad as me. I think I've jumped from first period to fourth period to third period to second period before in an episode. So I think I can forgive you that blunder. But dude, we're covering football in December again for my second year at the Star, second year in a row. That's pretty cool. Covering that Pacifica game last year it was at Saddleback, right? Was where we were. Yep. Up in the press box. Yep. That was a cool experience.
It's our third straight year at Saddleback because St. Bonaventure 2 years ago was at Saddleback too. So it's a great venue, brand new venue, beautiful venue. I remember covering games at Saddleback College where they were at a nearby. I mean, it was like they needed a new stadium. It used to be not the greatest venue.
Yeah, now it's like, it was cool. It was a who's who of all the prep sports reporters from across California had all converged at Saddleback last year, including you and I up there. So it was a kind of crazy weekend for us covering these three games, and we got all of them covered, which was pretty awesome. Let's start with Pacifica though. Top of the rundown. Turns away Granite Hills, coming back with the 42-35 win to get back to a state championship game, second year in a row.
Well, I was telling Coach Garcia before we get deep into this game. I was telling Coach Garcia it was a beautiful. I had a great time this weekend. You took the drive up to the Central Coast, although I volunteered for it. I would have loved to have done it 25 years after.
I told the coaching staff that I had to fight you off.
So that was fantastic. And then, we could have went to San Diego, but when the game's on Spectrum and we've got, we're making all these long trips, right? So I kind of, just like last year when Newbury was in San Diego last year, we didn't go. I covered it off Spectrum, and I did that so behind the, we're doing the blog. I'm doing the blog from my couch. So I get to watch both games from my couch. It was beautiful this week. I was nice and warm. I had the fire on. I had the Christmas tree. I had the lights on. It was cozy. The only, I didn't get to have that Central Coast tri-tip, which is what I would have done. I would have stopped at Jocko's in Napomo for lunch, and I would have added. So my cholesterol is a little bit lower right now than it would have been if I made that trip.
Wins all around for you this week.
But I love going up north and covering football at Central Coast. So yeah, it worked. I almost just drove you just to go and do the blog from up there, but it was good considering we've got one more big weekend to go. It was good to rest my old bones on the couch and watch the three games. But Pacifica itself was just an unbelievable football game. I mean, it was, they jump out to leads of 21-0, 28-7, 35-14 at the half, and you're like, whoa, because Granite Hill is a very good team. They beat the defending Division I AA champion in Lincoln to get there. And so, I thought it was going to be the game it ended up being at the end the whole way. I was shocked at They had it ended up being a game where Pacifica needed huge efforts in all three phases. There was wild swings. The offense dominated the first half. The defense stepped up in the second half when their season's teetering on the brink, and then special teams won the game with the second year in a row. You covered the game against Narbonne last year where they blocked 3 kicks.
Yeah.
I went back and forth. I reported Kingston Miller having blocked the punt. Then it was obviously Max Magana based on some video. And then earlier today, Coach Moon said that both kids said they got a piece of the ball. So it went off one and then off the other. So I'm going to give it to both of them. Max Magana and Kingston Miller blocked a punt. DeVille Warner, for the second time in 3 or 4 weeks, scooped it up, ran it back 29 yards for the game-deciding touchdown with 42.8 seconds left. And that is Pacifica improving to 3-0 in state regionals over the last 6 years. Magana had an incredible game. He had the punt block. He had the game-opening interception on the first defensive snap of the game that kind of opened the floodgates for them scoring the first 3 touchdowns of the game. And he had a key pass breakup on third down to get off the field on a fourth down, on a fourth quarter drive. So he had a phenomenal game, but nobody had a better game than Isaiah Phelps. Career high 208 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, career high 30 carries, and 21 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss and a sack. I mean, this guy, Isaiah Phelps, has been the best two-way player in Ventura County, been one of the best two-way players in the state, in the country. I mean, just how dominant he has been on both sides of the ball. And we've said it repeatedly, when Pacifica gets in a game, Isaiah Phelps runs the ball. And he doesn't always do it. They talked about on the broadcast a little bit how he essentially took the first half of the year off. But they knew they had that card in the back pocket. And in the playoffs, he's had to go both ways. And he's been phenomenal. I mean, every time they were up against it, he just made a big play, depending no matter what, who had possession of the game. I thought Pee Wee Wilson had another nice game, 15 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss. Julian Villegas, you're talking about this great Pacifica linebacker core. Villegas, who had the scoop and score against Amat in the second round of playoffs. He had 2 sacks in this game, 3 TFLs. And then, talking about a pass rusher who had the game-ending solo tackle in coverage on fourth down to end it. So, and we've gotten that deep and haven't talked about Taylor Lee, who completed his first 12 passes, which I think is a school record. They said on the broadcast that it was just off the section record. He had a phenomenal first half. Obviously, things got a little tough in the second half when they weren't able to do as much hurry up, and the pass rush got to him a little bit. But I think he was 21 of 33 for 186 and 2 touchdowns and a touchdown run. So all in all, phenomenal game for Pacifica. No points down for not finishing more, not closing the game out. I know Coach Moon was really upset with the way that they played in the second half, or not the way they played. He was upset with how he reacted at halftime and went more conservative. They went to 2 high safety, and that's what kind of burned them.
Looks like we actually have this.
Yeah, he just texted me. My anyway, I'll update the timing on him.
Sounds good. Spoiler alert: we're gonna have Coach Moon on later in the episode.
let's just tease it. Coach Moon, we're efforting DeVille Warner, we're efforting Jack Cunningham, and also Coach Contreras. So we're gonna have
Joe and I said, let's take all the work off our hands and put it on everybody else.
Blowing it out.
I mean, you mentioned that smartly kind of noticed just what Pacifica has done with special teams now 2 years in a row. It's something that stood out to me. I mean, Coach Moon is the special teams coordinator at Pacifica. I remember covering that game against Narbonne where they blocked, I think, 3 punts, and that was kind of the story of the game. I knew I wanted to talk to Coach Moon about special teams afterwards, and he said, yeah, we take it very seriously. We think everybody takes special teams seriously, but you don't see on the the huge stages like like these that Pacifica have been on these last couple of weeks, every team making special teams plays like these guys do. I mean, it truly is like an important part of what they do, and deserves to be talked about. I mean, just so many kind of game deciding plays for Pacifica in special teams.
And then obviously you were up in Rio Grande for, I mean, really, it was historic. It's a better word for it. It was just a throwback. The fact that, Ventura County teams have traditionally played Central Coast teams in the biggest games. The Paso Robles, Rio Grande, San Luis Obispo, all have played our teams in CIF championship games back before there was state play. The bunch of a bunch. Let me try to speak English here. Many of those teams moved up to the central section about 10 years ago. That's why Rio Grande is now in the central section, was in a regional against Ventura. But it's 25, almost 25 years to the day after Ventura beat Rio Grande in the CIF Division 4 championship game, which arguably the finest moment in their program's history. 25 years ago in December of 2000, where Tyler Ebell broke the national record for single season rushing and touchdowns. But to do that again, to go back, Coach Garcia has been there for 24 years, essentially since that game. And I'm sure he's had to hear about that team over and over again. So go back and go on the grass of Arroyo Grande and beat them at their own game, dude. I mean, three Ventura players run for over 100 yards. They run for over 300 yards for the fourth time in 5 playoff games. You didn't have to hear it, but the broadcast was talking about how, Ventura's a passing team and you're going to need to run the ball a little bit to play with AG. And I'm snickering. I'm like, they
haven't been reading the Ventura County Star sports section, clearly.
This team's run for 300 yards through the last 4 games. Like, you're not paying attention. You're not doing your homework, bro. So anyway, you were at the game. What can you tell me about what you saw there?
Well, I mean, you mentioned kind of the throwback, and we talk a lot about like history or programs like Ventura. The reason you had the instinct to call it historic, I feel like, is this is a program that's been around for so long, and there was there were legends on the sidelines of this game. Watching Lamont Fields, who was at one point the all-time leading rusher in Ventura football history, the guy who broke his record, and Tyler Ebell, who led that team in 2000 to their first CIF championship. Those guys were on the sidelines.
Yeah, and Derek Swafford too, who was a great runner, who went to Cal out of Ventura. It was about the time that he was right before Ebell, I think.
Yeah, and you get this awesome moment where those great running backs get to watch what ended up being a pretty just jaw-dropping performance from Tristan Savage in this game. He had
Savage performance.
Yeah, I'm sure he's never heard that one before. He finishes with 141 yards and 2 touchdowns on 18 carries. All of that came in the second half of this game. So the way this game played out, this 35-28 win, I don't know if we said the score yet, is basically it's like you said on the broadcast. Ventura's this spread offense. They throw the ball a ton. That's what they did in the first half of this game. So Coach Tim Garcia says, going up against AG, the way they run that offense with the the kind of wing principles and the going to grind you down and chew the clock, we need to keep our two-way guys fresh. We're going to need them on defense. So the Jordan Butchers, the Tristan Phillips, those guys who are kind of involved in that heavy run package that Ventura will
Jesse
bring.
D'Alba.
They
moved their best linemen to defense only in the first half.
Yeah, so they're running basically just spread. They got James Watson, the great transfer running back who's been great for them, speedster from St. Bonaventure. They got him as their running back. They're spreading it out. They're throwing the ball a lot, and it's going okay. It's a 14-14 game at the half, and Coach Garcia said at halftime, he's like, all right, we're flipping the switch. We're going back to, the thing that has been so great for us schematically, which is this heavy package. We're going to, pound the ball. We're going to do what AG was doing in that first half to us. And just pretty much instantly, the third carry for Tristan Savage of the second half, he breaks off a 60-yard touchdown run. And all of a sudden, the tenor of the game has changed completely. And Ventura is able in that second half to just run the ball at will. I think the stat that jumped out to me when I was, statting this game in my motel room afterwards was Derek Garcia attempts 2 passes in the second half. He finishes with he was 15 of 22 for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he rushed for 100 more. And only two of those pass attempts came in the second half. So it was really a tale of 2 halves. He was great in the first half throwing the ball, and then when the time came to hand the balls off, so to speak, to the Cougars running game, he did that and worked out great. And just cool to see just how multiple they can be on offense, like how many different looks they can give you. It causes some headaches for defensive coordinators out there that have had to face this Ventura team, especially in the second half of the season.
I mean, you could see how much they put into their prep. They really did a good job taking advantage of all the attention Jack Cunningham was. By the way, Jack Cunningham became the 13th receiver in state history to go over 2,000 yards receiving. Mm-hmm. He's got a chance. We'll talk about it later. He's got a chance to go way up that list this week, depending on the game he has in their 1 game left. And so you could see they had a corner on him. They had help over the top. They had another safety looking over. So there was a lot of attention being paid to Cunningham. He still made an impact on the game. And I think part of the reason they were able to run the ball so well is the AG was spending so much resources on Cunningham. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I mean, just really impressive second half. The way that they adapted to the game as it was in flux.
Yep.
Was just a credit to the Cougars and Coach Garcia and the coaching staff. So they did a fantastic job.
Should mention also the Jack Cunningham effect was in play for the rest of the Ventura receiving corps too. Brody Torres, I believe, catches.
Oh, good call.
He catches, I think, 5 or 6 passes for 80 yards. All in the first half.
He had a huge game.
Big game for him. He was kind of the release valve for the Ventura offense as Cunningham's getting doubled and kind of marked down the field. So big game for him. Tristan Phillips had 11 tackles, 2 for loss. James Watson, who I mentioned, basically only played in that first half at running back, rushed for 103 yards on 16 carries. So everybody got a little piece of this game. Very cool seeing them hoist the trophy on the grass where that magic happened 25 years ago. The quote of the game and the lead of my story was Tristan Savage saying, he goes to Cronies and sits there and looks up at the wall and sees those Ventura legends and thinks maybe after a game like tonight, a couple years down the road when he finishes up his career, maybe he'll be up there too. It was very cool to talk to him about that. So awesome game.
Yeah, a lot of guys earned their jerseys on the wall of various Ventura establishments. The way they played that, I can guarantee you they're going up there. Some of them.
Yep.
So congrats to the Cougars. Huge. One of the big weeks in Ventura High athletics this week. And then moving on, you were also at Moore Park College. It was a big Dom week. Dom was all over the place. You were also at Moore Park College for the Superior performance of the weekend.
I knew you were going to get one of those in there somewhere.
Grace's awesome postseason run ends to a worthy opponent, San Diego Morse, 57-40 in the Division 6A State Regional at Griffin Stadium. What can you tell me about just a phenomenal, just an unbelievable performance by an unbelievable player?
Yeah, I mean the magic kind of finally ran out for Grace, but they did not go quietly in this game. Turned into a shootout. It was a 57-40 win for Morse of San Diego, who was led by, one of the more dynamic players I've had the pleasure of watching, Superior Garor. He finishes with 365 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, and 4 successful 2-point conversion attempts. He just lived in the end zone of this game. And a lot of credit also belongs to that Morse offensive line. That's something Coach Coate pointed to as a problem they were unable to solve kind of early enough in this game to fully stay in it. They had, they were running these 2 tight end sets, and Grace likes to stunt a lot on the defensive line and kind of force the run where they want it. And in this case, they wanted to force Superior to run inside into the teeth of that Grace defense, and just weren't able to kind of figure that out. Almost every single one of those touchdown runs for Superior, just he breaks outside, and Grace didn't have the speed to get to the edge and stop him. So that was, credit to Coach Coate. He comes out, he tells the team after this game, he tells me after this game, he takes full responsibility for, the kind of the scheme battle there that Morse wins in this game. The Grace offense, a very explosive night for quarterback Riley Williams. He completes 22 of 43 passes for 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1 on the second drive of the game and 1 on the last drive of the game. So, most of those passes went to Landon Cooper. He had 13 catches for 214 yards and 3 touchdowns. 2 weeks in a row, he had 4 touchdowns in the CIF championship game against Santa Paula last week. An incredible postseason run for him. But yeah, that Grace offense kind of stalled out a couple times early on. You mentioned this before we got on, Joe. They drive down into Morse territory and then just can't quite get over the hump there. And on the other side of things, Morse is scoring on the 3rd, 4th play of each of their drive on these massive Superior touchdown runs. In the second half, they're able to get within 33-26 on a Landon Cooper fly sweep. They get within 41-34 after Morse comes down and scores. They get within 41-34 on a punt from Morse that goes off one of their own players in the end zone and is recovered by Dominic Sforza for a touchdown. And they get within 49-40 on a Landon Cooper touchdown catch, but they just couldn't get the stops that they needed because Morse goes and scores after every single one of those.
To me, in watching this game, where Grace let the game get away from them is, and I just told you this offline, the first half, especially the first quarter, where they have good offensive drives. They're in plus territory 4 times, and they don't get anything out of their first 4 possessions. I think you score in half those possessions, you're right there at the end, and who knows what happens. It changes the 4th quarter. So I think that's where I'm sure the Lancers are kind of kicking themselves, where you have those opportunities early in the game and you can't kind of cash in, and that's that's the regret, I think, is not being able. And then Superior goes off, and then, oh man, I wish we had those points because we wouldn't be so far behind.
Yeah, and then I should add also, I mean, it didn't make it in the story. I don't even know that I tweeted it out, but credit to both teams, both coaching staffs come together at midfield at the end of this game, and players from Morse interspersed with players from Grace all taking a knee and talking about how great a game it was, thanking each other for a challenge. Coach Coate and the Lancers wish Morse well and hope that they win that title so they can, have lost to the state championship team this year. And it was just cool, a cool display of sportsmanship and kind of a heartwarming moment after, what was a tough game, a tough way to finish that game for Grace. So pretty cool.
Fantastic weekend of football. Make sure to go to vcstar.com and vote for the player of the CIF State Regional for us. Obviously, everybody we just mentioned up in that poll: Riley Williams, Landon Cooper, James Watson, Tristan Phillips, Derek Garcia, Tristan Savage, Taylor Lee, Pee Wee Wilson, Max Magana. I'm not quite sure which Pacifica kids are. Oh, obviously Isaiah Phelps.
I was gonna say better be on there. That would have been an oversight on our part.
And vote. It'll be our second to last poll of the season, barring, I don't know, some sort of decision to do an all-county poll. And the stat of the week on the fly, the stat of the week was going to be first time two Ventura County teams have reached CIF state championship polls. Instead, it's a reminder that Pacifica delivered Ventura County's first state championship by a public school in 2019 with the 34-6 win over McClymonds in Division Memory 2A. Mm-hmm. Pacifica and Ventura can be second and hopefully third on that list this weekend. So another great season, couple seasons in a row where public schools have really, after 2 decades of private school dominance, we've really had a couple good seasons by some public schools the last couple of years. Now we're going to have some, let's vamp as we wait for our guest. So we're going to have Coach Moon on, as long as he's able to get in, and DeVille Warner, hoping the fact that he tried to get in and we didn't accept him.
Did you text him? The vamping that I will do before Coach Moon comes in is related to the stat of the week. In the CIF state press call that Coach Moon hopped on what was it, on Sunday, he was asked by I think it was James Escargaga about just what it means for the state of football in the 805 that Ventura and Pacifica, two public schools, are playing for state championships this week. And he said, yeah, man, it's awesome. He actually said on the call, he was like, yeah, maybe Joe or Dom can tell you whether it's the first time or not. And here we are, stat of the week, first time that two Ventura County teams have reached the state championship. So the state of football in the 805 is good. And I believe we have Coach Moon on the line.
I was getting worried that we didn't accept them the first time, and then it was going to screw it up.
What's up, Coach Moon? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on.
Do you want to give us an update on how everything is going this week? Obviously, your 16th week of football, but I'm sure it's a unique preparation.
Yeah, it's even last week. It's obviously the last few weeks. With the televised games, there's Zoom meetings here and Zoom meetings there, CIF Zoom meetings, and then obviously the broadcaster. Badges for this and badges for that, and just all these things. Constant communication with our AD, and blessing that we've somewhat familiar with this. Obviously, being our third time in 6 years, so I remember the first time everything kind of caught me off guard. But and then juggling with the soccer schedules, we have really good soccer programs here. So we're about to start practice in about an hour time, just to make sure we're off the field for soccer. So again, juggling competing with the winter sports schedule, and I don't say competing because we're not competing with, we're just working with. And then all the other components of state. So, by the way, on top of that, I got to prepare you guys for
like having some issues with your audio. Hang on.
Here, say
are you,
something.
Are you on the network at school?
Can you not hear me?
That was funny. You sounded like you were underwater there.
Hey, why don't you try to? Should we have him call in?
Is that better or no?
Oh, I can hear you now. Yeah,
I can call it. Okay, I moved over. It's our school is like a black hole sometimes on our devices. So
Perfect.
Is that better?
Right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So what was the last couple of stuff? What did you just say?
No, just juggling all of those components, the CIF state requirements and the Zoom calls, and who passes, who doesn't, like all these. We got to have a videographer at this and all these other components. And then, oh, by the way, you have to prepare your team to play in the state championship game. So, obviously both schools and both coaches are doing all that. And I don't know if you heard me before, but it's a nice problem to have, if you will. And this is the third time we've done it in the last few years, so we have a little bit of experience. But then, I was just talking to Camacho, our AD, and it's just like, man, I forget all the different things that are required for us to do these things. So.
Yeah, you get the magnifying glass not only of Ventura County sports media on you, but everybody across the state wants to know what's up with Pacifica. What's this program that's heading to its second straight CIF state title game? I loved in that call. For sure. I loved in that call how many times people were asking of the coaching staff of many schools, just like, what do you guys do? Like, what's tell us what we need to know about your program.
What's your deal, bro?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are always interesting calls. So it's all good. And for us, like we played Saturday night. We got in 3:00, got to bed at 4 a.m, and then you wake up. And I was talking to Joe earlier. You wake up. You got to figure out the film exchange, start breaking out film. Oh, by the way, you got a Zoom call, and then you got to get back to film. And it's just the timeline's so interesting. But again, good problems to have, I guess.
So we were just talking before you got on about special teams and about special teams dominance for you guys, not just this year, but we were remembering the block party, as we called it, against Narbonne last season. The block at the end of this most recent game that leads to the deciding score. Just can you tell us, as not only the head coach but the special teams coordinator over there at Pacifica, just like how important that phase is to you guys, and what, if anything, you do that's unique on special teams?
Well, it's cool. I got to give a shout to George Contreras. I actually saw him on Sunday. And I was like, hey, you noticed the block punt? And yeah, it looked familiar, so, got a lot of the special teams from George. And we start every practice. The very first thing we do at practice is pump block. So that's how we start the week out, with pump blocks. So we stress it. We do field goal block middle of practice every day. And we practice, even when we're doing field goal, we're practicing our field goal block. So blocking kicks is such a huge game changer for any big game, if you will. I always tell the boys, if we're able to get a block kick for a touchdown, I can guarantee a win. Now, we can't really guarantee a win, but I don't know what the odds are in any football game on any level. But usually when you're blocking punts for a touchdown, there's a really good chance that team is the one that ends up the victor at the end.
How about Coach Moon with the advanced analytics? I think there's like they say a pick six or a special teams touchdown increases your odds of winning exponentially. So I don't know exactly what the number is, but that's what Coach is citing there. That's some football analytics right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's huge. Obviously, if you learn from coaches that emphasize special teams, which I've done from multiple mentor coaches, you're going to emphasize that in your own team. So again, we practice a long time every day, because we do everything every day. We do offense, we do defense, and we do special teams. We don't just do special teams one day a week or a couple days a week or punting once. No, we do everything every day. And so the boys have bought into that, and they know what to expect in the program. Is when you get here, you're going to practice a long time, and not because we're trying to grind on them and their bodies, but because we're trying to fit everything in a 3-hour block, or at this point, an hour and 45-minute block. But beginning of the season, it's about 3-hour block.
Coach, one of the things that's interesting to me about this week for you guys is this is now your second straight season of 16 games. And so not very many teams in the county have done it. I think the Ventura and Pacifica are teams 12. No, it's less than 10 teams have played 16 games in the county. So, anything that you've learned about doing that and how that's affected this group right now, knowing you're playing your 32nd football game in 2 years?
Yeah, it's funny. I had a conversation with Coach Canetti in the offseason. I know it wasn't even offseason. It was this season, actually. I think we were going to the semis, and I had given them credit in the past. I mean, they did 30 games, right? They did this all the way to state, and then they played us the very next year. And I was just kind of giving them credit for that. I was like, man, I don't know how you did it. And then I kind of reached out to them around game 30 this time, and I was like, man, it was a grind, and so now it's tough. 32 games. We said 32 games in 16 months, and here's the thing. We're blessed to have the experience of it being the third time that we've done it. And so we're trying to get better as a coaching staff every time, in terms of getting ahead of things and juggling it and keeping their legs fresh, but still preparing the boys and figuring out all the film sessions and things like that. But I think the key to it is really keeping them fresh physically, but having them as prepared mentally as normal. And obviously the burnout, right? You don't want them. We always say if they don't want to come back to practice on Monday, something is going to happen in the game subconsciously that they're going to sabotage it. They're kids. Yeah. And so, we always say if it's important to you to come back to practice Monday, you're going to lock in and you're never going to, because it's a grind, right? And if you, whether as a coach or a player, if you enter into that mind state of like, man, this is a really long season, something is going to happen subconsciously to mess up your practice or mess up the game. So really getting them in a positive place mentally. But again, the key is physically as rested as possible, but yet still mentally prepared. We're a rep-oriented, program, so we're all about reps on offense and defense and special teams. So now can we prepare the guys that we always done with less reps than we normally do? And so, you got to do more things in film. You got to explain more things. You got to make sure I just had a meeting with a couple guys in my fourth period class just to kind of go over some film notes of things that they do. And again, just having the mental advantage because you can't, again, we're rep oriented and we can't do that many reps because we can't condition as hard. We can't do all those things because their legs will just fall apart. So 16 plus a scrimmage, 17 weeks of full go football minus one bye week. So, it's a lot for high school kids. So.
Yeah. Were you the coach I talked to that talked about taking, like, you don't get on the field on one of the days? Is Mondays your day off? That might have been Ventura.
So yeah.
Okay.
Well, me and Tim have, I talked to Tim at the county meeting and he was like, hey, like just kind of like, hey, how do you do it? And this is my thought of it. And we both agreed. I don't think he practiced it on Monday on the field. Obviously we do film and weights on Mondays, but we didn't get on the field. So today is technically going to be introductory Monday practice. And then yesterday was just film and weights.
Nice. So
are we going to have is DeVille available or?
Yeah, he's available. You want him now?
Yeah, let's talk to DeVille real quick. We'll just be 5 minutes and
he's
on.
I'll just walk
all right,
inside.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Coachman. Appreciate you.
I'm gonna give him my phone so that way so just give me a minute to walk over to him and give him my phone. So that's easier.
Nice.
Okay.
Hey, Bill.
And obviously we're also being Georged. We're being joined by George Contreras. George, I've muted you, so we'll bring you on when we get to the next period here.
Is that
mentioned?
Is that George? Is that George or Jack?
It's George.
It's George. Sorry, this is the most crowded the most crowded Teams call we've had. I love it.
Make sure we gave him a shout right now.
Yeah, we'll talk to him about that when he gets unmuted. All
right, so Bill's coming. I'm trying to go to a place where we have perfect Wi-Fi, so I'm going to put him exactly where I was. So here's the Bill.
Nice. Working so far.
Put an X on the ground.
Stand right in the corner.
Usually it's the old buildings that are like that. Pacifica is a relatively new one.
Joe, you hear him in the background saying, stand right in the corner, right there. That's awesome. I love it.
Listen to that coaching. And I've lost my hey, DeVille. It's Joe Curley and Dominic Massimito from the Star. You are live on YouTube, and you're going to be on our podcast Prep Period. And and all the windows that are open. Here we go. I found my notes again. But I don't need notes to talk to DeVille after the year he's had. Obviously last year you had a very different experience with the postseason run. This year you've had let's call it a central role. Some of the biggest plays you've made. Just how different has this year been for you than your junior year when you were just breaking into this team?
It's been really, really big this year. I feel like I'm really helping out the team more than last year. I feel like it's more exciting knowing that I'm a good guy on the team. I know I'm helping the team out. I could be a leader.
You've had that scoop and score moment in multiple games. I remember, was it Pee Wee? It was either Max or Pee Wee talking about one of the blocks where they were. I think it was Max this week was talking about how he was looking for the ball after he blocked it with Kingston, and the best feeling was knowing that you had grabbed it and he didn't even know. I don't know what are those feelings like when you have the ball in your hands and you know the only way you don't score a touchdown is if someone tracks you down from behind. And I know the odds of that happening are not very good considering your speed.
Yeah. Yeah, when I get the ball, I just be running as fast as I can. Like, I just know it's I don't know. I just run.
That's
I mean, you're a track guy. You know, how different is wearing those pads, and does it slow you down at all? I mean, do you feel as fast as you are on the track when you're on the field?
I don't know. I used to last year, but this year I feel like my pads are a little lighter. Maybe I like working out, but I don't know. But like running just feels like it feels natural. It feels good.
I know track coaches across the county are terrified to hear that. running feels even more natural for you than it did before. That's awesome.
It feels lighter. And then obviously you've joined this linebacking group that's got to be one of the better position groups in the whole county in any position. What tell us about that group and how you and Pee Wee and Isaiah and Julian kind of all work together. How confident you guys are. I mean, this game this week may be up to you guys. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but
yeah, we always come together like during defensive session and like even while offense during thing, we still talk about defense. Like we watch film at our own time and we point out like different things that like we can help each other in game, like point out like like what the play is, like things of that nature. And we have like our own group chat.
Go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, we have our own group chat like out of like the rest of the football. We talk about defense and like point out some things and like screenshots, like stuff on film, like we point out, like we see and stuff.
What's the name of that group chat? I gotta know if it's safe for the podcasting ears.
Yeah.
It's our RBK, like our coaches always to say, and like the stickers on our helmet, like shoes, like that's just us, like we're RBK.
Am I not? What's RBK, Dom? Do you know?
Yeah, what's that stand for?
What's it stand
running back killers, I think.
Running back killers. Oh, I love that.
Okay.
That is awesome.
And Deville, as somebody who's been late to football, what have you learned? Isaiah's been playing since he was little. I'm sure Pee Wee's been playing since he was in Pee Wee. What have you learned from those more experienced backers that made you the player you've been this year?
They help out a lot. I played when I was younger, but like I played like little corner. Like I was into football, but not really into it like now. But I came in, I was like a little kid. I wasn't this tall, this fast, and like just growing and like seeing other linebackers, they helped me learn. Now like I use my own play style, my speed, because I'm big, but I'm not the biggest, but I still got like speed on me, so I use that to my advantage. Different things, and then they've been here playing linebacker, so like I take some of their stuff too.
Has it sunk in yet that you're going to be playing for a state championship on Saturday afternoon?
Maybe like today and tomorrow at practice when it's like we're all locked in, it's very intense, and the whole team's just like, when the whole team's together, like you just feel like the the area, like everything around you is just like you feel like the state, like you just feel like prepared, Yeah, I can't get the right now, but yeah.
No, I hear you.
Do you have any memories from last year's championship game? What kind of contribution did you make? And how does knowing that you've played a football game at Saddleback and you've done this before help your prep for this week?
Last year I helped a lot on special teams, like kickoff, stuff like that, getting downfield. And like playing at Saddleback is fun, all the crowd, it's a nice stadium. Like everything like echoes, like it's a really intense game, especially last year. Last year was a fun game. I like the intensity. Like we've had intensity games all this year. So we'll definitely be ready for that.
Tom, you got anything for our resident hybrid linebacker safety?
Yeah, I mean, we're like Joe said, we're going to talk about it moving forward in our next segment and everything. But Joe kind of mentioned it. That awesome linebacking core that you guys have. You have a big challenge this week. Facing an awesome running back, from Central, and how much are you stoked for that matchup, and just knowing that that's going to be a big part of the game, spotlight on you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Like a lot of the pressure's on us. We got a good running back to face this week. But we'll be locked in for sure. He's a good guy. We're gonna watch film, get coached up for sure.
Yeah, you got a couple more days to get it going. But I really appreciate it. It's good talking to you. It's been awesome to watch you play this year and see you just blossom.
Thank you.
And yeah, looking forward to getting one more great game out of DeVille Warner before he hopefully continues to play football at the next level.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
DeVille, before you go, we had a repeating segment on this podcast earlier this year called apologies, I was not familiar with your game. And Joe was familiar with you coming into this year and everything, but I got to say I got to give you the apologies, I was not familiar with your game directly to you, cuz man, what a year you have had. So congratulations, and fun to watch you play.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, DeVille.
Thanks, DeVille. We'll see you on Saturday afternoon, bud.
All right, see ya.
Awesome.
All right, so while we wait for the issue we're going to have here as we do this live is, so I think I set up Jack for 12:15. I did text him. He's now responding. So we'll see if he can jump on now.
Gotcha.
Or if maybe we just talk a little bit with George here and get his thoughts on last weekend. Here.
Come on in, Coach.
Able to unmute him. Trying to unmute you. Hang on.
I think I can too.
Can you do it?
Yeah, I can. Oh, I can disable Mike. No, he's got to unmute himself.
George, should you try to unmute yourself?
There he is.
Oh, he did it.
What's up, Coach?
Hello, Dominic. Joe, how you doing?
Doing better now that you're here, Coach. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
Coach,
my pleasure.
How was the movie? Was the movie good?
Terrible.
Should I go see it?
Terrible.
He took us.
What was it?
Did Lori pick it?
Yeah, Lori didn't like it either. She was ready to leave. I was too Scottish to leave before I got my full ticket price.
Too Scottish.
But it's one of those movies where you see the trailer and you've seen the movie.
Oh yeah, I hate those.
And it was bad. It was just.
Should we say it by name? What was it called?
We could save some people some money.
Beckham Hill.
Fuckham Hall. And they kind of play off that a lot, So.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a spoof on Downtown Abbey type stuff, but man, it was not good.
Stay away.
On a brighter light, football.
Coach, you got a big shout out from Coach Moon earlier on we were talking special teams, we were talking punt block in particular and how big that's been for Pacifica, and he said yeah, he talked to you and had to give you props for everything he kind of gleaned from you, shadowing you over the years.
He's been very kind with those kinds of comments, but Mike's resume speaks for itself. He's gone way beyond anything I taught him. He's an outstanding coach, and I want to apologize to both him and Ventura right now for not picking either one of them 6 weeks ago to win the CIF championship. Shows you how much I know. Same here. Yeah, Mike's a great guy. Great guy.
What do you remember about the young Mike Moon assistant that when he was first getting started on your staff?
He was always intense with his players, demanded a lot. He was our when I was the defensive coordinator at Rio Mesa, he was our defensive back coach, and then eventually he took over as defensive coordinator when I started going to Europe. And I just remember Mike as being very, very intense, very detail oriented, high demanding of his players in practice, and just stressing the fundamentals to death. So those are all good things that I'm sure is a big reason why the Pacifica Tritons are where they are here the last 6 or 7 years of his building that program up to incredible levels. So yeah, just it was obvious that Sunday he just needed to get his chance to be a head coach, and he was going to do well, in my opinion, and he has.
I didn't know he was a defensive backs coach. That's cool because it explains some of the willingness to tell his DBs like, you're gonna go win this battle one-on-one. You know what I mean? Like daring some of these offenses they've faced to throw the ball.
Yeah, he was always like that. And I was kind of a big zone guy. He loves man-to-man coverage. He was always just baffled for me to call more cover one type stuff, and he had tremendous faith in the DBs we had. And we wound up calling a lot more man stuff because of that. So, yeah, he's just a really good football coach.
That's awesome. We got Jack Cunningham on. Jack, I don't know if you have headphones, pop them in. If not, all good. But if you have headphones, it'll help with the. I think we got a little bit of reverb.
All right, for sure. Here, I'll go grab some right now.
Oh, perfect. Thanks, Jack. Sorry for asking so much. The podcast producer here.
It was me not producing very well, asking him to have them ready, but. George, as you've seen both Ventura and Pacifica, right? So obviously,
yeah.
Anything about this Pacifica team that stood out to you from, all of Moon's previous?
The game that I saw, they were just an offensive machine. I mean, I've come to expect them to be really, really solid on defense, given Mike's pedigree, and they were the night I saw them play early in the year against Newbury Park, and. And they did a great job, I thought, shutting down Schmeigel and the passing attack Newbury Park is famed for. But what really impressed me in that game was their offense. Their quarterback was just amazing that day. And it was one of those deals where, if Newbury Park scored 100, they were going to score 105. I mean, it just they were going to answer every call that was there. And I'm just very impressed with them as an all-around football team. The kicking game has really come into play here, and they're winning that battle, and that's huge. And like I say, to beat them, it's going to take a pretty darn good effort. I know they had a tough game this last week against Granite Hills, but it's going to take a tremendous effort by a team. And whoever they play, they can't blink. If they blink, the Pacific will go by them in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. No, it's going to be. I'm really excited for it. Seeing what we've seen out of Central, they look good. It looks like it's going to be just a super fun game Saturday afternoon. So Jack, if you've gotten the headphones, you're muted right now. So just unmute yourself when you're ready. And then George, you want to talk about, what have you seen from the Cougars? You were obviously up there in Arroyo Grande.
It was my 67th game that I've gone to this year at all levels.
He beats us.
That's crazy.
How have you seen more football than us?
Well, you remember I was in Spain for 3 months coaching and watching football there too. So I got a 3-month head start on you guys. But yeah, so and I go to games as often as I can. So that was number 67. I've seen Ventura play against Moore Park in the semifinals, I think that was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw them play last week. Yeah, and then I saw them up in Arroyo Grande this last weekend, and again, very impressive on all three levels, all three phases, I should say, of the game. The receiver you're going to talk to in a minute is just whatever things he's done. I mean, he is the real deal, in my opinion. Great high school receiver. The quarterback has done a fantastic job. They've got the running back, the sophomore kid. I mean, is there a better name for a running back than Tristan Savage? I mean, seriously. Yeah. And then the sophomore kid, they have another running back too, whose name I don't know, but
Watson
is really, really a solid kid too. And then you've got Tristan on defense leading that group of guys. So yeah, they're very, very good as well. And the game up at Arroyo Grande, I mean, what a great slugfest! It was 7-6 at the quarter, 14-14 at the half, 28-28 at the end of the third quarter, and then we got into this amazing fourth quarter deal where Ventura scored kind of right off the bat in the fourth quarter. In came the Arroyo Grande offense, which was moving the ball pretty consistently throughout the game. And it came down to very quickly to a third down play that Tristan Phillips diagnosed perfectly and just knifed through and made a big-time hit for a tackle for loss.
Yep.
And, at that point you're going, okay, well, we'll punt. We got time. Well, they punted as they should have. And all of a sudden, here goes Ventura on an 8-minute and 48-second non-scoring drive to end the game. But, Arroyo Grande never got the ball back, and that drive was just amazing.
That conversion on fourth down from Tristan Savage.
The guts.
Yeah.
And there was two slides in there. I think it was the older running back had knifed through for probably about a 15, 20-yard gain. He could score easily, and he had the presence of mind to slide and keep the ball in their possession with another first down. And they ate up the clock, and like I said, Arroyo Grande never got the ball back. So I was just highly impressed. And both games I've seen them play, they've been very entertaining from a fan standpoint, very entertaining from a coaching standpoint, as far as seeing the way these teams play and their level of excellence on all sides of the ball. So I think they're fun. It's good. I think they've got a good shot this week against St. Ignatius. So that'll be a good one again. So I'm looking forward to that one for sure.
I think we're all looking forward to it, and looking forward to hearing Jack's thoughts. Jack, just walk us through how awesome that feeling was, on the grass there at Arroyo Grande, hoisting up that regional trophy and saying, we are going to go play for a state championship game.
It felt great. It was a great win, great overall team win. And just knowing to be back in regionals and getting that W and having another chance to win a state game feels great. I know as Ventura, it feels great because the last few years we've been going out first round. So we were just starving for a playoff win. Week by week, we got better, and we kept building as a team, and now we're going to state, and we're going to be ready.
It's been really cool, Jack, seeing just throughout the end of the regular season into the playoffs, what different defenses have tried to do with you. How do you solve the Jack Cunningham problem? And against AG, you scored, I believe it was the first touchdown. Am I correct for Ventura in that game?
Yeah.
So you go down, you catch that touchdown pass, and it seemed like AG was really keying in on you. They were like, we're gonna try and make somebody else beat us. How much? How cool does it feel to get that level of respect from some of these great teams in the playoffs, defensively, and then also how cool does it feel to see the rest of your teammates, step up on offense and deliver such a great performance? I love it. Here, let me 1 second. I gotta fix Joe. Joe's frozen. Yeah. No, can't hear you. We gotta do it quick so that we get all the audio back. Yeah. Just hop out and come back in. Yep. This is momentary technical difficulties. If I know Coach knows this, Jack, if you've watched the show at all, you've probably seen we get like one freeze per episode. I ran into your dad coming into Larrabee Stadium, desperately looking for parking. I was running late for something, and I'm trying to get into the top parking lot, and he stops me. He's like, "Dom, is that you? We gotta find you a parking spot. We gotta get you into this game." It was awesome. All right, let me reset the 1 second. There we go. Before we go back into the interview, let me fix your the video so that we can use it. We don't just get the audio.
Fix my face.
There we go. We can hear you now though, so that's excellent.
Oh, that's good.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, guys.
It's all good. There's been something the last couple. So, let me introduce. I'm going to introduce Jack with his stats.
We're good to go.
Jack, you were at Saddleback 2 years ago, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we can mention that too.
We're back.
Yeah,
we're back.
Versus Folsom.
We're back.
Folsom.
All right.
Dang, I didn't know you guys played Folsom 2 years ago. That's crazy.
Yeah,
they actually won that game.
We should have won that game. We needed like 1 or 2 first downs, and then we whiffed a punt, and they just drove down last second touchdown, rolling out.
So Ventura senior Jack Cunningham, former St. Bonaventure receiver, now the all-time record holder for single season receiving yards in the history of Ventura County. He's caught 116 balls this year for 2,041 yards and 26 touchdowns. It's the first 2,000-yard season in the history of Ventura County football, and I believe the 13th. I'm not going to count it, but I believe the 13th in state history. He's now up to ninth all time in the state of California, and he's got really a shot, depending on the last game, depending what he does this weekend, he could be as high as 3 or maybe even 2 on the all-time list. I don't think he's going to go for 5 bills this weekend, but if you want that record, that state record, it's there for you. If Derek wants to pour it on a little bit, but yeah, I mean, just congratulations on the senior season. Obviously, you had a phenomenal junior year, but I don't know. Is this the type of senior season you were thinking you might have, or is this another level?
I mean, I would say this is another level, but with all of the hard work that I put in and just me and my good friend Tristan really just reminiscing this season, really just explaining our goals and know what I want to go for. It was really just hit a goal. Once I hit that goal, it was just next week, just a better and better goal. And I just kept going up from there.
I wanted to ask you about Tristan Phillips, because you guys, we've talked about him kind of being, in a lot of ways, the heartbeat of this Ventura team. He's the smack talker. He is the, he's always there, kind of bringing that energy. And what I've always loved between the two of you guys is you have this kind of quiet killer mentality. Even when you score a touchdown, you run back along the sideline, your teammates are going crazy, and you're just back to business. Just like, tell me about the relationship between you two guys and kind of the different energies that you guys bring, that kind of thing.
It really, honestly, it works out perfectly because it's really just two opposite kind of demeanors, but we still have that killer mentality that you need to play football. So I feel like he brings out the trash talk in me, though, and I still and we kind of relate off of each other. And he's just been so great for this team. He's really made us thrive in the playoffs, really, and just putting that stamp of what we wanted to do as a team. And he really showed every kid that, and every kid just followed it. It's really helped the team, and especially in playoffs.
I think I remember you saying, I can't remember if it was after the Salesian game or something. You said that he was talking some smack to you about not having scored a touchdown in the past game, and he got that one rushing touchdown or something, and then you came back the next week and had like 3 or something like that. It's a
the Buena game. He was like, "Hey coach, let me get a touchdown." So we were like, "Why not?" Final Buena game, final rivalry game. So we gave him that touchdown. My touchdowns ended up getting called back, and then the next week was Moore Park. I had 3. So
nice. And just last question for you, man. I mean, what would it mean for you, for that incredible senior group, to lift up yet another plaque, a CIF state championship plaque, this coming weekend? What would it mean to you to cap your high school career like that?
I'd say it would feel great for me and feel great just for the community, the team, and Coach Garcia especially. We've made it all this way. We've worked so hard, and knowing I lost my first state championship, I definitely want revenge. And just as a team, I know we're not going to back down, and this is our final game together. So regardless, we're going to go out there, play hard, and get that W.
Nice. Joe, you got one more question? Oh, yeah, you are. I think you might be muted, or are you muted?
Yeah, while we got you, Jack, let me just ask you quickly about the state championship game. 2 years ago, you were on the St. Bonaventure team. You were a sophomore on the team that lost to Folsom in the same D1 game, that D1A game that Pacifica's in this week. What just any memories of that game? What can you tell your teammates about what this process is like this week, how this week is different than the 15 that have come before it? Anything about that experience that will help you guys win on Friday?
Honestly, it's really just we've played the way we have all year, and I would say the main part is like kids can definitely get overwhelmed of the fact that it is a state championship game. It is our 16th game and final game, but really you just gotta. I try to treat it as don't make it bigger than it actually is. It's still the game of football. It's still every game we've ever played. And we just need to go in there and do the things that we've been doing. Stay disciplined, do our job, execute, and give 100% every play.
And then I just need to get what was your reaction when there's 8 minutes left in that game at Arroyo Grande last weekend, and you guys are looking at a 4th and 1 from your own 21, and you realize that Tim Garcia is going to go for it? What was your reaction in that moment? And just bring me through that.
Obviously with our offense, how we've been rolling, and just me having confidence in my teammates, I was like, all right, let's go for it, because we tried to get him to jump off sides to start, and then he called another play. I was like, all right, let's do it, and we got it. There's no doubt, and then we knocked like 9-10 minutes off of that clock on that whole drive too. Amazing. So that was insane. So that was just really just like started off that drive knowing that we're not going to be stopped.
I mean, I think it encapsulates just this Ventura High football run these last 6, 8, 10 weeks, 10 wins in a row. You know, this is a team that has 100% confidence and belief in itself, isn't afraid to tell the opponent about it, isn't afraid to just, shout it from the rooftops, from the sidelines, whatever, isn't afraid to go for it on 4th and 1 from their own 21 with the season on the line. So, and I guess when you got players like Jack Cunningham, you can go ahead and make those decisions. Jack, just good luck on Friday night. Go get it. And congratulations on an absolutely unforgettable senior season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Sorry to step in there and add to it, but
dude, I had forgotten the detail about Jack being on that Bonnie team. That was
you weren't here 2 years ago, bro.
Yeah. Well,
not your fault.
The thing is though, I am always reminded that he played for Bonnie, because if you go in Max Preps, the banner or whatever still says St. Bonaventure for Jack. It just tracks kind of wherever you started, I think. So yes. I'm like, oh wait, did something happen I don't know about? But yeah, no, just an awesome year for him. Such an electric player, so fun to watch. Glad we got him. Now though, now that we got the expert in the building, we can preview these state championship games a little bit more. I'm interested to hear what Joe, you and Coach have to say about Central and about St. Ignatius. Anything we've kind of found in our preliminary scouting of these two teams.
So let's set it up. So Pacifica 15-0, Fresno Central East 13-1. It's the Division 1A State Championship Bowl, Saturday 3:30 p.m. at Saddleback College down in Mission Viejo. It's the third straight year we've had, and that's the big venue. That's the top 5 divisions playing there. I believe the Pacifica game feeds into the big game, the De La Salle Santa Margarita game. It's Pacifica's second straight CIF State Championship Bowl, their third in 6 seasons. They've got a chance to tie the state record. First of all, they have a chance to be the first Ventura County team to ever go 16-0. It's never happened. They're only the second 15-0 team. They got a shot to be the 10th team in state history to do that. That's a state record. We talked to Coach Moon about their second straight 16-game season. This is a matchup of two 2019 state champions. Fresno Central won their only state championship that same day that Pacifica won theirs. Division I AA, they beat Sierra Canyon 34-19. Pacifica, obviously, those that remember, beat Oakland McClymonds, which I think is Bill Russell's school, 34-6. This is Marmoni League has a team in this game for the second time in 3 years. St. Bonaventure, like we mentioned, lost to Folsom 2014 in 2023 game. Wow, that screwed me up. And then the cool thing that Mike turned me on to earlier today, Coach Moon told me that the Kansas City Chiefs have alums on both these teams. Mm-hmm. Noel Williams, everyone will remember Noel Williams, one of the great players on that Pacifica 2019 team. He led the nation in interceptions last year at Cal. He's now a draft pick of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a cornerback for the defending AFC champions. Central East has Xavier Worthy on that Kansas City Chiefs team. So hopefully we get some stuff out of Kansas City this week
I was
of
just
those
gonna say
two
we
alums.
gotta get a photo of them in the locker room watching on like a little TV.
I may I'll send an email to their sports information people. And then another kind of cool connect. There's a lot of little cool connections here. Central East lone loss of the entire season. Remember the 13-1. Their only loss was to Sacramento Grant. Sacramento Grant beat Pacifica in last year's 2AA state championship bowl. So a lot of ties there. And then I think what we've kind of figured out, the simplification of this whole football game, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I think it's easy to think that the matchup that you got to look at in this game is Central East's running back, Brandon Smith. He's run for over 2,000 yards, 29 touchdowns this year. He's averaging 150 yards a game. He ran for 250 and 2 touchdowns in the regional win over Pittsburgh. He's got almost 5,000 career yards. He's an Arizona signee. He also plays safety. I think he's a 3 or 4 star recruit, depending on where you're looking. So, and obviously the strength of this Pacifica team is that incredible linebacking core. With Pee Wee Wilson, who's playing in his second state championship game in 3 years. Obviously Isaiah Phelps, his second straight state championship game. DeVille Warner, who we spoke to earlier earlier today. So that's the matchup. It's Brandon Smith in their offensive front against the Pacifica defensive front, headlined by those linebackers.
You could simplify it even just a teeny bit more and say, you have Isaiah Phelps, who's key to that linebacking core and has been, like we've talked about, the running back that has pushed Pacifica over the edge when they needed it on offense, against a guy who, is an incredible running back and, makes an impact at safety as well. Those two-way guys both ways. A cool matchup between those two.
Yeah, Dom and I flipped the film on earlier today, and we were the first play. I think it's the first play of their game. In the regional game, they're backed up to their 1. He's dead to rights in the end zone for a safety and jukes whatever defense. Yeah,
20-yard game.
It was nasty.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a lot of fun. It's appointment viewing. Get to your TV. Get down to Mission Viejo because this is going to be a big time game. We also should mention they also have a 3-star receiver, Bayonne Harris, 6'3", 200 pounds, runs a sub 1100, 75 catches for 1,600 yards and 25 touchdowns. Arizona is one of 9 schools who has offered him. He's a junior. So anyway, now that I've hogged now that we've set the table here,
get out the big guns.
You and George want to talk about this at all? What interests you?
George, go ahead.
Well, it's going to be quite a ball game. I've got Pacifica winning, but there you go. I'm a little bit prejudiced on that one. It sounds like it's just going to be a fantastic ball game. I think Pacifica has done a pretty solid job, especially in the playoffs, against some teams who had some very good running attacks going against them. So I just like the biggest thing I like about it is Mike Moon. I mean, the two teams, the players, they're going to be fine. To me, it's going to come down a little bit to the coaching staff and the Pacifica staff. They've had 3 CIF championships, 3rd time in a state championship game. I think that experience is going to be something that's going to be a really, really important. Not so much game time as it is this week of preparation and getting them ready to go and knowing what's going on. And I think you mentioned that they played down there at the same stadium before. That familiarity for the team is going to be a big thing too. So I think it's going to be. It sounds like it's going to be a whale of a ball game. I've not seen Central East play, but I've seen Pacifica, and it sounds like it's just going to be, who has the ball last kind of a game. So I wish I could go to that one, but I'm committed to going to see Washington play in the Holiday Bowl that evening up at SoFi instead. But I think
those big Huskies,
all football all the time. Something Coach Moon mentioned in the presser as well. He said these are two teams that are simple. And he meant that in a complimentary way. They both have dudes. They both have freak athletes. They both find ways in very simple, effective ways to get those athletes the ball. So gonna be electric watching these guys play.
There's also a little bit of more kind of data. Central East also played the Inglewood team that has played a lot of our teams. They beat Inglewood 41-12 this year in their week 0 game. They also beat the Bakersfield Liberty team 35-31 that beat Orange Christian this year. Oaks Christian, one of our schools. Mm-hmm. So there is some kind of crossover, but it really, to me, this thing, the way I looked at it when I was kind of breaking this down for my column was, it's an absolutely massive game for Pacifica. You're talking about their third state championship bowl, their attempt to win it a second time, the attempt to get the bad taste out of their mouth out of the trip to Mission Viejo last year. I know that this staff and these kids, obviously you want to win the state championship, but there's added kind of motivation in what happened last year, how close they were, and they came up short. And also the way when I'm just looking at what these teams have done, obviously throughout the playoffs, Pacifica has won games in the fourth quarter. They've done what it takes in special teams, in games just like last week where they were up against it. They got a big play from an unlikely source. And I look at these scores from Central East and I wonder, when was the last time they really played a tight football game? They scored 61 points at the end of October. They scored 56 points, 53 points, 70 points, and 55 points in the 3 playoff games. So they really haven't played a competitive game this month, in the last month, maybe 6 weeks. So, I think that's a slight edge for Pacifica in that, they were down in the fourth quarter in the CIF championship game. They were, when you blow a 3 touchdown lead in a regional game, they were dead to rights. And so to find themselves out of that pickle and to find any way to advance, I think when the going gets tough this weekend, I think, Pacifica will be in position to find their way out of that box. But they have to be in the game. And, obviously with Central East talent, they have a chance to just, run away from this thing. So they're defensively, they're gonna need to play their best defensive game of the year to kind of be in position to win this game in the fourth quarter.
For sure.
First of all, great use of the word pickle.
Love pickles.
That was awesome. Yeah, but and you're right. I think again, having players who have not been in a close game for a long time, that can become a mental issue for the Central East group. But you got 2 great teams. You got teams that are 25-1 between them, playing in a state championship game. What more could you ask for? It's going to be a good ball game, no question.
And I think it's a feather in the cap of the Romani League. Since the Romani League has become, officially the number 1 league in Ventura County, though it's the way the structure is now with releaguing, the Romani League has sent a team to the state championship bowl 3 straight years.
Wow.
Good for the county.
Yeah.
And then, second state championship game, we got 13-2 Ventura against 8-6 St. Ignatius of San Francisco in the Division III AA game. Friday at 8 p.m. at Fullerton Union High School District Stadium. It's Ventura's first CIF state championship bowl appearance, and kind of the story for St. Ignatius, simply put, is they start the season 2-6 and they've won 6 straight. So figuring some things out in terms of health, figuring some things out on the field, just looking very cursory glance. They've played 3 quarterbacks who have played a lot this season. I don't know if that's a health thing, if that's bringing in the backup. I don't know what the story is there, but not a ton of continuity early on, but they've clearly found their footing.
Yeah, I think one other thing too, and looking at St. Ignatius' schedule, those first games where they lost 5 out of the first 6 games, they lost to teams who were San Marin, who was 8-3, Alcalanes, who wound up 11-1, Archbishop Mitty, who's in their league, who's 6-5, Juniper Rosera, who's in their league, who's 8-6. And Archbishop Reardon, who's 12-1, I believe, just lost their regional game last weekend. So they were playing against some pretty good teams, and that West Catholic Athletic League it's a powerhouse league in the San Jose, San Francisco area. So, they played a very tough schedule, but like you said, they found their people, and in the last 6-7 weeks here, they've gone on a nice run, and here they are. So again, this should be another very good football game.
To your point, Coach, Joe. St. Ignatius finished fifth in that West Catholic League, which includes Archbishop Riordan, which St. Bonaventure beat the last 2 seasons, and St. Francis, which beat Grace Brethren in the 2017 CIF State Division 2A championship. So some connections to Ventura County and local teams.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's the thing. So Ventura's playing phenomenal. I think they would win this game against a lot of, D2, D3, D4 opponents. I think they're in a good spot. They've won 10 straight. It's their longest winning streak since 2011. They have played, not only have they won 10 straight, they're really playing their best football since 2000, maybe their best football ever. These last 6 weeks have been just, as somebody who picked them to lose their first playoff game against Salesian, every time that I've picked against Ventura or questioned them, they've answered. And, they're a solid team all the way around, from their offensive front to the skill positions. They had the hole at running back, which has been completely filled by Savage and by Watson. And defensively, any weakness on that defense has been solved and fixed, and special teams wise, they've made the plays. They really have played exceptional football essentially since the SOP, essentially since midway through the regular season. The only thing that gives me pause is the fact that St. Ignatius comes from one of the best leagues in the state. That Riordan team was phenomenal. They lost a higher division state regional. I think I'm trying to think who beat them, but they lost last weekend. It was their first loss, I think. They also Sarah's also in that league. Tom Brady's school, Barry Bonds' school. That Sarah team that we've seen play in this weekend multiple times. Do you want to read the quote from their coach?
Yeah. He said,
and how their season's changed.
Absolutely. So he attributed that slow start not to schedule but to health. He said they were healthier at week 10 than they were in week 1, which is rare for football and the violent nature of it. The big thing that has changed is just our ability to finish. Week 1 to week 5, we weren't able to finish anything from tying our shoelaces correctly to now. We are able to pay off drives, get stops on defense. So it's a combination, health and clearly they're executing at a higher level now.
I mean, I think it is. I think it is a good matchup because they're two teams that didn't start great. Ventura was 3-2. St. Ignatius, like we said, 2-6, but have really played good football since and have earned their way here. And so I think that's good. I don't love the fact that, it's a private school team playing a public school. I like these matchups better when they're two privates or two publics. It's just my preference. But I do think that Ventura will take this historic moment any which way they can, because it's just a phenomenal opportunity for that program to show itself to the region and to the state and to the country at large. I mean, I think it was a really interesting build in the fact that you've got multiple kids that have been national recruits, and you're like, okay, yeah, but they're at Ventura. Well, they've taken Ventura and turned them into a statewide power, with patience, with, I think everything they've actualized. I think Derek Garcia has gone from, and I'm working on a story on Derek for this week, but he's gone from really being a timid sophomore to being, whose nickname was Chill, by the way, to really, he has had the last 6 weeks, there have been no chill. I mean, he has come out of his shell and grown into, I'm going to use that in the story, by the way.
There you go. Boom.
And has really just become a man. And, it's part of the joy of this job is we meet kids and we get to see them grow into men. We get to see, I knew Lorenzo Booker when he was a kid, and now he's a dad whose own kid is off at college. I don't know why Lorenzo popped into my head, but all these, you see these kids grow up and in the spotlight that we put on them, and I think Derek has been thrust out there and grabbed it and shown, and Jack Cunningham, I mean, there was a moment where it looked like he was going to transfer to TO rather than Ventura. If the story of the last 2 years would have been the second coming of Dave Anderson. And George, I don't know if you want to step in and just remind everybody who Dave Anderson was.
Yeah, Dave Anderson he was a tremendous receiver for Thousand Oaks. Wound up going to Colorado State, and I think he spent a little bit of time in the NFL, if I remember correctly. But
try 7 years with the Houston Texans. 7 years in the NFL.
Yeah, another fantastic receiver, and just a money guy. Made the key plays when he had to. Did it on special teams as well. Just another good football player. And you mentioned the quarterback. He's in that last game against the Rio Grande, he just made some throws that were just like money. I mean, it's just like, it's third down, I got to make a play. I make a play. He made a couple plays on a keep play went for about 30 yards. He had another in that last drive, that non-scoring 8-minute and 48-second drive. He had another play where he could have gone for more yardage, but again, he was smart. Got the first down, took a slide, and kept the clock and the possession going. So very smart, very heady. And I think one of the big things here that should be mentioned too is his dad. Tim Garcia has been at Ventura as the head coach now for 15 years, maybe more.
Yeah.
Again, he has always had a tremendous staff. Whenever you play Ventura, and I know the last couple of years maybe not be great years in terms of Ventura football, but they were always solid years. And you always knew when you played Ventura, you better be ready because they're going to come and hit you. They're going to be skilled. They're going to be well coached. And again, that's now you have that combination of this really fantastic coaching staff with a bunch of kids who are motivated and of course have some God-given ability that helps too to be in this position. So again, I really like the position that Ventura is in this, based on that long-standing coaching staff who's worked together for so long under Tim's direction.
Yeah, just to correct the record. So the way it works is Brad Stewart took over from Phil McCune after that 2000 win. He was the head coach for 12 years. Tim Garcia was, I believe, his offensive coordinator. And for those 12 years. And then when Brad retired, Tim took over in January 8th. I'm looking at our story right now. January 8th, 2013. So this is year I think it's year 12. I think it's season 13 for him.
Right.
And earlier this year, he became the all-time winningest head coach in Ventura High history, surpassing Coach Stewart, who, by the way, is on the sideline of these games and looks as young as he did when he took over for Phil McCune 24 years ago. So good for Brad, because that Ventura lifestyle, man, the surfing, beach, I mean, that'll keep you young for a long time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool.
But just going back to Jack really quick,
you get 90 seconds, Joe, because we're at 90 minutes on this episode.
Okay, so Jack Cunningham, it's like looking at Dave Anderson in the face. They're the same size, 5'10". They're the same weight, 170. Very similar receiver, basically, and they have a penchant for big plays. He's committed to Western Colorado. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually, and Western Colorado is a great one of the best D2 programs, but it'd be really interesting to see if there's another program out there that sees what they could get out of Jack going forward. Anyway, long story short, he's going to be playing football for a long time, no matter where it is. So whether that's Western Colorado or even the Houston Texans for 12 years, because he's that good a receiver. Dom's laughing at me. I just won't stop. Stop. Let's go. All the way to Friday.
I'm getting paid a visit from. Oh no, she's running off. She's camera shy. Getting paid a visit by one of my dogs, telling me it's time to wrap up. So, Coach Contreras, thank you for coming on. Thank you to all the players and coaches we got on. Stacked episode. And yeah, thank you, Joe, for another great episode. And thank you to the listeners for another great episode. And follow along with our live coverage. Go vote in the poll, like we said. Follow along at VCS Preps Twitter. We'll be covering all these big state championship games coming up this week. And yeah, go like and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you're seeing it. And we will see you next week.
See you next week, Dom. See you in full Orange County Friday and Saturday night.
Gonna be fun. All right, guys. Till next time.
Comes down to this for Thousand Oaks in their season. It is a gift to Martin. Martin gets the first down and more. It's a nice little screen to the left-hand side. One play and see ya later. Caldera dives into the end zone. Touchdown Oxnard. What a fitting way to end that run. He's at the 40. He's at the 20. 10.